When it has not worked as well is when we brought in an outside person to essentially run a segment of our team, working with our team, and they were very like they were never integrated into the organization. Like if you're going to do that, which is how most people work with agencies, you kind of need to treat them like an employee.
Hey everybody, Roland, Frasier, and Ryan Deiss here with an episode of The Business Lunch, where we like to have lunch and you're not here. No. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to give you a seat at the table as always. And we're always talking about really real life things that are going on in the businesses. And Ryan, we were just talking about agencies a minute ago. I think maybe we talk about agencies today. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's a good idea because we've been working with a lot of agencies. Like earlier this year, I know you made the decision at one of our divisions to really kind of double down on bringing on some outside help. It's a way to ideally get people there and making an impact much faster than you would if you have to go through a full recruiting, hiring, training, onboarding process. But I think it's safe to say that the results we had were mixed.
It is very safe to say they were probably slightly skewed against good. I'd say that I think we brought on 5 agencies. I'd say 2 of them worked out well. One of them was kind of, it's good, I'm not sure, still jury's still out. And 2 of them were definitely failures.
Yeah. So I think it's, I just think it's worth, and obviously we don't need to name names. Don't want to necessarily disparage any individual businesses
because it could have just as easily been us as it was them. So, right. I mean, acknowledge that it's not that they are the panacea cure-all for all of the inefficiencies you've got in your business.
Yeah. So, but I do think a discussion about maybe some lessons learned from that and just some, in the future, what are some ideas that we have for working, a little more wisely with agencies might be a good discussion. But maybe if you could just kind of give a little, without going into too much detail, but perhaps reveal I remember us having a conversation. We might have even done an episode on it, talking about just the importance of getting A-level talent. Like get those A players, people who are proven commodities, stop screwing around, stop wasting time with B players, like go out there and get the best. And that was sort of the vision behind going out there and bringing in some of these folks.
Twofold.
Yeah.
One, that. And the second, that what we found is that shared services for marketing never works. But not only that, within a company, like that's inter-company, but even intra-company, within one company, one team per value ladder is definitely something that I think is the way to go. Because you're always going to be cheating if you've got 2 products that are 2 different value ladders, or and so the importance of understanding the value ladder might have 4 products in it. But if you've got 2 value ladders for like kind of different things and you're trying to have the same team do it, then both value ladders will suffer. And so that lesson learned the hard way from dozens of times of you and me pounding our heads against the wall because, why, but that this was basically a way to solve that, to get those extra value ladders in, to get A players without necessarily going and having to have 4 CMOs. And so we've tried fractional people, multiple agencies as fractional marketing people, and then also experts in particular things, like a particular vertical of, say, or medium, say newsletters or YouTube ads or whatever. And I do believe it's kind of hard because you do want a separate team per value ladder for marketing and sales. I believe you do want a level person. You maybe aren't ready to hire full expensive $200,000-$300,000 a year positions for those multiple things because they're kind of up and comers, but they're never going to get the chance if they're always choked out by the one thing that's making money as you're trying to launch new things. So this was kind of like a way to try to figure out how to do that. So we brought in a whole bunch of agencies that were all doing top work for top people, had great reputations, great people. And I still think they're all great, by the way. It's just whether they worked out for us or not.
So looking back, what would you do differently? Why do you think it didn't work out with most of these folks? Because I think the theory holds, right? I mean, I want to make sure that we're clear on this. A lot of people, a lot of entrepreneurs are quick to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We still do believe that you should have a dedicated, focused marketer per value ladder. And so if you think about Apple, right, they would have a value ladder in their MacBook. They would have another value ladder in their iPhones. They would have another one for, maybe AirPods or peripherals. Think about a value ladder from that perspective, as opposed to just one marketer to rule them all. Because invariably, these value ladders get orphaned. The one that is generating the most gets all the focus and attention. And so you don't ever get growth across the company. You just kind of get iterative growth and the other things down the vine. So that made sense, right? It absolutely made sense. And that's why the decision was made to go and bring on these folks. What, without changing the strategy, because we say the strategy is good, what do you think we do differently next time?
Well, a couple things. One, I was just talking to one of our business partners that's an operator earlier today. And one of the things you and I talked about, so two things. One you and I talked about, which is what you might not want to do is say, let's do this gung-ho and damn the torpedoes, we're going to just hire them all this month. And add on 50, 70, 100, okay, it was $100,000 a month of extra costs without phasing them in for a few reasons. One is that's an instant hit to your profitability, but two, you're not going to give them all that they need because they're coming in cold. They don't know your business. They haven't been there for 1, 2, 5, 10 years doing it. So they've got some get up to speed time. And I did allow 90 days for them to come. So basically June, July, August. June, hired everybody. July, August, September, kind of let everything season. October, where we are right now, seeing kind of how they're doing and seeing who was going to perform. A couple of them, like one performed well, but the benefit, it was more of a branding play than anything else, not a profitability play. So that was just kind of money that I knew was going to be spent and not really come back in a direct response kind of ROI. It was going to come back in a longer term branding ROI. And I still would do that. But the problem was that also revenge travel, economic craziness, turmoil in the world, and interest rates up and everything, inflation up. I think everybody that I talked to had a pretty rough August. And so we brought them in and kind of put them all in at the same time without having the time to work with them individually to really focus on let's dial all this stuff in and kind of just hope they would perform at the amazing way they had for all the other people. And, I think they didn't get enough help and support because I wanted to do everything all at once So, so that I think would be on me. The next thing would be trying to, I think, maybe move them too fast. So, one thing would be sales. So you and I are sharing, or our companies are sharing an outside sales company that we like and that has done a good job. And, both the salespeople that we hired and that team coming in, we made the mistake of taking our best performing thing and putting the new sales team on it. And I didn't really realize that was what was happening until the conversation I just had right before you and I got on here. We took a $200,000 follow-up to a monthly event that we have, something that generated $200,000 in profit because all the costs were already amortized. It was all basically, these extra sales go straight to the bottom line and there's not really any cost of fulfillment. So we took that and gave it to the new sales team to learn on. And it dropped by 80%. So we lost about $160,000 a month of sales that we had been getting for the past 3 months, because ever since July, it was, well, let's give the best things to the new sales team so they can learn and have success.